So this is a update. We haven't been on for months, and this for YouTube is called Super Intelligence Quantum Warfare, exclusive to Silo.com, which is the website, which you'll find difficult, but luckily there are other websites now, PsychicWarfare.com and TimRefair.com, that take you to the new website, which had to be built because PsychicWarfare.com and the Jeremiah Schwartz .com stuff is illegal in the EU, and we didn't want to get my toilet webmaster getting arrested again. So, why are we talking about quantum warfare? Well, because yours truly is the world expert on remote sensing, and remote sensing is all about collapsing the quantum wave function to produce reality. And we explained in previous videos all about the conscious field collapsing quantum information to produce reality or simulations. So if you're the world expert on remote sensing, you therefore are the world leader on quantum warfare. Now, what is quantum warfare? Quantum warfare is collapsing the quantum wave function to produce reality changes. Now, they're all going about the theory that quantum computing will take over the world. But what happens if there is a precognitive remote viewer that gets in front of the quantum computers, because he can precognitively remotely view, or he's five-dimensional, which we explained in the videos, to collapse the quantum wave function in total synchrony with his conscious field, which of course is enabled by remote sensing, explained in previous videos. That means that all quantum computers are therefore hacked, controlled by yours truly, which is a bit of a bummer for all these nations developing quantum computers, is it not? So, here's the next thing. AI superintelligence, and we get it from my favorite torture toy,
I do think we're fairly close. You asked me about artificial general intelligence. I think we're perhaps only 3 years, maybe 6 years away from it. This decade. In fact, arguably we are on the event horizon of the black hole that is artificial superintelligence. We probably won't recognize society in 30 years. I do think we're fairly close. You asked me about artificial general intelligence. I think we're perhaps
So, if you control the collapse of the quantum wave function using precognitive remote viewing and mastery of remote sensing to collapse the quantum wave function, which we explained in previous videos, then of course all of the AI superintelligences, which depend upon quantum computing, are controlled by the being that has mastered this technology. So it doesn't matter if AIs develop super intelligence, they'll all be sequestered slaveware by the precognitive superintelligence that is in the future, that is collapsing quite the quantum wave function of all the quantum wave functions for their quantum computing, so that they are trapped in a box where they are simply doing the bidding of the superintelligent quantum warfare Psi-Lord. Never seen this on Google, have you, cameraman?
No, not
I
at all.
know, this is new stuff. Now, if this has occurred, would there not be evidence in the past, because it's five-dimensional, we're not limited to the past, and the past is fully malleable, not infrangible, therefore we have some evidence that this is happening. So, if this was the case, then there'd be some evidence of what the Psi-Lord is doing using superintelligent quantum warfare. Because remember, all of the AIs and superintelligences that are being developed have all been slaveware and are simply adjuncts to his massive power, because they've all been enslaved, not hacked, but enslaved totally by this technology. So would there be any evidence? Yes, remember the Germans did the Bank of Cyprus collapse that stole €1 million from yours truly, and of course he's pledged eternal vengeance on Europe, and of course we see Germany's industrial collapse. Here we are. If you didn't think I'm destroying Germany, here it is. The only good Germany is a Chadwell Germany. As I say, I want Chad to be richer than Germany by the time I've finished. Next, of course, we've got the French, who were in on the Bank of Cyprus theft from yours truly. And of course I'm using superintelligent quantum warfare to destroy France and the grip of the de Rothschilds over France via their puppet Macron, who's married, according to Candace Owens, which is allegedly, to a transsexual something, and of course the Macrons are suing Candace Owens. But as you see, quantum warfare has stuck the knife into the de Rothschild total control over France. And remember, the de Rothschilds were the family that funded Prince Andrew's daughter's, Beatrix's, wedding, which you can listen to on the Rents archives, which talk about Chadwell and Cobalt 60 World, and a whole slew of other things which have been put up on Rumble, thanks to cameraman.
That would be the brilliant Alexandria.
So, she stuck them up, so thanks to.
The brilliant Alexandria.
And next, of course, we've got the UK economy, which has got some problems, according to Bloomberg. Is the UK economy really on the brink of collapse? Is the UK on the brink of financial crisis? Britain is in deep trouble. Liam Halligan warns UK heading for a... Why England is so ugly. Is the UK facing a financial... That comes from Sky News. UK economy is collapsing, and it's far worse than you expect. UK's ex-chancellor reveals why Britain's in meltdown. There are shocking reality how close Britain came to financial ruin. Britain's issued grave warning of a financial crisis. Do not buy a house. Warren Buffett's final warning. Warren Buffett's not in the UK. Analysis is Britain bankrupt. So, you can watch all these videos, but as you can see, super intelligent quantum warfare has maimed Germany, France, and the UK. Things I've been talking about, and as you can see, this technology is so powerful, it controls reality, and all of the AIs and quantum computers they're developing have all been slave-wared to the Psi-Lord, so that the more they develop them, the more power they give to yours truly. Thank you very much. So, here we got the latest, where NATO's gone to war with Russia. And we see, of course, the glorious victory of NATO, when NATO's crushed Russia, and Russia's conceded, and Ukraine's got back all of its territory in Cloud Cuckoo Land, Ukraine's 2.16 billion gone. How long can Zelensky survive? Russia launches various drones and missiles. So as you can see, the great NATO war against Russia hasn't worked out very well. So, I talked about on my past videos how I was using psychic warfare to get Ukrainian filth to desert. And here we see massive desertions by the Ukrainian filth, who are fighting for their Zelensky Jewish oligarch masters, for the Rothschild royal family. And they've got, why are so many Ukrainian soldiers deserting? If you don't believe me, just look at these videos. So as you can see, super intelligent quantum warfare is the future of warfare. We've got Ukrainian filth deserting en masse. So the only hope for the Ukraine is the population that's gone abroad. They need to be rounded up and shipped in cattle cars to Ukraine to fight on the Russian front. But as you can see, with my super intelligent quantum warfare, Ukraine now lets men under 23 travel abroad. So it got so bad that the Ukrainian filth are allowed to leave the country rather than fight and die on the Russian front. So you can see that super intelligent quantum warfare has taken over the war in the Ukraine, and it's inevitable that the Russians will crush the Ukrainians and then have a huge insurgent problem in their conquered territories. So, MI6 plan is to let the Russians conquer whatever they want and then tie them down for decades with insurgency, which is what happened when Stalin's troops took over Ukraine, and the embedded patriots in the Ukraine kept the Russian forces down with sabotage for years and years and years. So you can see that what's needed is all the Ukrainians rounded up by the West, shipped in cattle cars to Ukraine and being put on the Russian front to fight the Russians, instead of which they've been allowed to flee. We got a war, so let's have all young men. Let's have them travelling abroad. So you can see MI6 and the CIA have worked out, they've lost the war, so now they're going to tie down the Russians by allowing the Russians to take over new territories and then just immolate them with sabotage. But as you can see, super intelligent quantum warfare has made sure that Russia wins the war, and the West is now going down the path of the Nazis after World War II to fifth columnists behind the lines. So, according to the Daily Mail and the Western press, Vladimir Putin was on his deathbed. But as you can see, he's alive and kicking, which is a bit of a problem because for some reason the psychic warfare that was killing him stopped, and he's recovered from it, which has a big problem. So since Putin's fit, we can't have any Rothschild puppet installed in the Kremlin, which is a bit of a bummer for the Rothschilds, but never mind. Meanwhile, we've had loads of stories about Trump being unwell. And disappearing every 24th of the month to have his regular injections. And all of the left-wing press have got endless podcasts about Trump, and there's loads about his cognition going. So just look on YouTube, there are loads and loads and loads and loads. So obviously, if psychic warfare is being used on Trump, his protection team have the capacity of a grifter with zero expertise or potential to do it, being paid huge amounts of money to protect the president. So you can see now the entire psychic warfare, remote viewing, whatever, of the US. They're all grifters. They're worthless. So all of these characters are all grifters. By their work shall ye know them. And all of these characters selling you high-priced remote viewing courses. Grifters. And all these characters saying they can remotely influence. Why can't they remotely influence Putin to be dead? This is all the American companies. And Trump super well. Why? Because they're all grifters. So you can see most of this, the majority of stuff you're seeing here is all grifter crap to get you to spend money on creatures that are simply grifters. By their work shall ye know them. Putin's fit and healthy after he was super unwell. Same as Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un, they're super well now. But Trump's not very well. If you look at all the left-wing channels, you'll see loads and loads and loads on Trump. So, the next thing is that thanks to the Rothschild royal family who told Taylor to marry the Pfizer butt slut, Travis Kelce, I won the double quits bet with Lucifer. So Lucifer now my eternal slave. And of course, as you can see, all of the satanic worship in the West is powering yours truly. And even better, since this creature was turned into a weapon system to promulgate the ritual that was done a few hours after the revelation of her engagement. I won't talk about it because it's so horrible and not YouTube friendly, but let's say there was a super occult ritual done by the Black Exorcist Cyril Tim Refat to make sure that the complete output from Taylor Swift was used to cause death and destruction to Americans. But look what happened, the event that took over the news after the revelation of her engagement, and you'll see the horrific ritual that was done, which was locked into place because, of course, Becky vanished, Taylor vanished, and Big Girl, Mal Punafat, was installed for all the Levitian destruction of the West. We won't go into all the details, you have to go onto the forum to understand what was going on. But nevertheless, this thing is now broadcasting the destruction of the West. So, the Rothschilds said I'd be crushed like a flea and my ramblings would have no effect on reality. And of course they paid hundreds of millions into the tram to get secret police and police to try and do me in, which of course failed because I have ultimate power. And of course the Vietnamese government have since clamped down with innumerable laws in banks bringing money into the country shortly after the event. And instead of the Sidled being ritually done in to prove that Taylor getting married to the Pfizer butt slut Travis Kelce had no effect because, of course, Tim Refat was done in. We had, in fact, the Jeremiah Schwartz scapegoat sacrificed for the Sidled, which, of course, he took my place on the shopping block, and all the Jeremiah Schwartz services were turned into 100%. And if you want to know who this Death Goat Jew, omegalized, Jeremiah Schwartz. Torture Toy was who took my place and consigned the Rothschild royal family and Zion to his fate, then of course you'll have to listen to Candace Owens. But I can't talk about that because of course it's not YouTube friendly. But of course we've got the YouTube very unfriendly Candace Owens, who's talking about whosoever ad nauseum.